Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today we are looking again at the Lepanto. I have reviewed the Lepanto pretty much, I think, in the early days when these ships came out, and the Lepanto was an amazing ship. It was playing basically like a French battleship, but with super high penetration. And the Lepanto since has had 2 nerfs. In update, I think it was 5.3, she did get the reload nerfed, and more specifically the penetration nerfed on both the semi-armor piercing by 10% and the armor piercing by 4%. And then again in, I think, 5.5, she had the reload nerfed again. So I'm retesting the Lepanto and see, well, after these quite significant changes, specifically to the main guns, is this thing still viable as, is it still as good as it used to be? So let's take a look at the Lepanto. You have relatively decent armor for tier 9, but not massively so. So they're more weakly armored. It's in the midfield, I would say. It's a midfield armor. The thing that's always been fun about the Lepanto was the combination of the fuel smoke and of these super punchy 380mm guns. Because especially if you could manage to fuel smoke yourself close to something, you could dish out an incredible amount of punishment in a very short period of time. But yeah, things have changed a little bit. So the base reload is actually, I'm going to have to, I don't know what I'm going to have to compare that to, but let's actually compare that to, hang on, let's get the tier 10 in. Let's compare it to the Colombo, because the Colombo has also been hit quite hard with a reload nerf, and I think also penetration, but I will have to look it up. So you've kind of got the same armor as the similar armor scheme as the Colombo, better maneuverability, but the base reload on the Lepanto is now 26.5 seconds. And the base reload on the Colombo is 30 seconds. These are 381mm guns. Let's actually throw an American battleship, the Minnesota, in there, because that's the super long reload American line. And let's have a quick look between those two. And yeah, you're not quite at Minnesota levels yet, but you are getting there. So also the Lepanto really at long range doesn't work that well, I find at least. So how does this change things? Well, let's have a quick look around at camo equipment and everything else. You could build for torpedo damage reduction. I personally wouldn't. I would put whatever possible in to compensate for these reload nerfs. There's not an awful lot you can do about the penetration short of, getting APCS, but using that elite bonus as well as the main battery mod 2, we're now getting the reload down to 24 and a little bit, which isn't great, but it's kind of workable. And to be honest, the Lepanto was a little too good as well with these. So this makes the ship a bit more balanced in that regard. The Italian battleships still have the one gimmick where they can use their semi-armor piercing to just blow destroyers clean out of the water, because semi-armor piercing mostly doesn't overpenetrate. The game claims it doesn't overpenetrate at all. This is a lie. It does overpenetrate on occasion. I've seen that, especially in lower tiers, but mostly it doesn't. So shooting at enemy destroyers is still as devastating as it used to be, only that you don't reload as quickly. The thing that I'm really more curious here is the question: is it still as powerful if you play it as an aggressive, similar to a French battleship, instead of the instead of the rapid reload engine boost combo, you've got the fuel smoke sort of to use to get yourself into position? Or is this now starting to become more of a more traditional long range battleship, and if you get yourself out into the open, you're more likely to die. Because the base range on these things isn't great. We're talking 13.6 kilometers at tier 9. That's not an awful lot. But you do get the scout plane skill, so that extends your range to something where you can play a little bit more at long range. So you could still play at long range at the opening stages and then, you know, get stuck in later on. Anyway, let's put the standard camo on because it's a tech tree ship and nobody wants a historical camo on a tier 9 ship, especially if it's tech tree. And get ourselves into some battles. The first round is domination on Loop. I think Loop is one of the newer maps, and that has been recently introduced. And it's a carrier battle. We're up against Essex, Iowa, Double Iowa, Monarch, Bismarck, Friesland, and Huguenot. Now, in this game, I'm going to play the Lepanto like I used to play the ship. You know, aggressively, kind of like almost like a French battleship that is less concerned about destroyers, because if I'm up against the Friesland, Friesland's going to be in for some fun. But that means I am going to push into A Cup, and I do have a destroyer with me here for scouting purposes. That is the friendly Huguenot, who can probably outspot most things. So with some assistance from that thing, we might be able to get something done. And yeah, the armor is okay, but yeah, if the Huguenot wakes up, that is. Okay, he has woken up. Hello. The armor is okay, but you're not in a German battleship. Like I said, it's really more like a French one that you want to jump out and with a scary mask on your face and just obliterate people. Where the French use the reload speed, whereas here you used to have a lot of guns and they were pretty hard hitting, especially at close range. So, slow down a little bit to give Huguenot some time to scout ahead, because the carrier isn't coming our way. But it looks like the two carriers are duking it out, or at least the enemy carrier is trying to kill the friendly carrier. And there is a destroyer in A Cup. I am spotted. There's also an Iowa. I've got the semi-armor piercing loaded, so something's in that smoke. That's probably the Friesland. So let's get some shots out at the Friesland. Let's see if we can land some hits. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. So that should have been about half the hit points of the Friesland taken off. But the Iowa is a bit more of an issue. Now Friesland's obviously sitting in his smoke and is trying to get me killed. So trying to get me set on fire. The Iowa is going to dodge all those torpedoes, I think, and is now getting into the smoke screen. So I'm not sure anymore if I'm shooting at Iowa or at Friesland. That was probably Iowa, but I don't know. Anyway, there he was. And you see there, oh yeah, I can semi-armor piercing Citadel in Iowa. I'm using the first fuel smoke here to get a little closer. And Iowa doesn't seem to be interested in fighting me, so okay, I can go after Friesland. Where's my Huguenot gone? After missing all his torpedoes. I have no idea. And that Friesland, hello, I haven't forgotten about you. Yep, ouch. Go away, Friesland. Set somebody else on fire, will you? Okay, so Iowa is sort of, we can get some shots at here. No, he's now wiggling and dodging, so let's get the island between us. I can get the scout plane up and see if I can maintain eyes on him, but I don't think I can shoot over this island. I think I can lob that. Destroyer is coming back. He can take A Cup. I'm just trying to deter the Friesland at this point, because there isn't just the Iowa out there. There was another battleship as well. So there's also a Monarch, I think, in relatively close proximity. So we do need to be a little bit careful. Oh yeah, there's another one, and that I think that was the Monarch. Where did that Friesland go? He's gone undetected. I wonder why. Okay then, I guess we're dealing with the Iowa. So semi-armor piercing out, switch over to the armor piercing, and Leroy Jenkins. This is what I used to like doing in the Lepanto. Now, where's my destroyer gone? I had a destroyer coming over to A, who then decided that he did. Anyway, I've got Iowas to kill. Hello, Mr. Iowa. Oh, there's the Friesland. Well, I've got the armor piercing loaded, so we're just gonna have to wing it. Hello, Iowa. Manual aim up. Double Citadel at close range, and usually I should be able to pretty much obliterate that thing. Unfortunately, the reload now is kind of a little bad, and it's you really feel it. I'm dead, by the way, because my destroyer support that I thought was coming over to ACAP is completely gone. I'm being shot at now by everybody, including the Friesland, Iowa, and that Monarch, I think, over there. So I'm dead. It's just a question of, can I take the Iowa down with me? Got the big caliber, and one more salvo. Iowa dead, and I'm being taken out. Yeah, that's fair enough. Oh, there's also a Bismarck here. Okay, so I've got them all over here. But we've done 80,000 points of damage and traded points neutral with a tier 9 battleship. Friendly carrier is about to be taken out by the enemy carrier, who spent 2/3 of the battle doing that, presumably. Yeah, and it wasn't even a German carrier. Yugumo, you would have been quite useful over here when I was busy doing that. He's trying to long-range torpedo the Monarch, and I think getting way too close to the Bismarck in the process. And there is also still that Friesland over there, plus you're being now air-spotted. The rest of my team has cleaned up the other side, but we're equal on kills. So we're still ahead on points because we're holding 2 capture circles. The Monarch is using unicorn moves of just sitting still and letting the torpedoes sail by. The destroyer is dead, obviously, but Jutland might be able to get some torpedoes on into that Monarch if he can manage to stay undetected. The enemy carrier is still up, so air spotting is still a thing. But I don't think he's done his team a great amount of favors by going for the carrier snipe. Not sure where he's sending his dive bombers, his fighters over there. And that Jutland got super lucky not to be completely obliterated by the Monarch's HE shells. So way too late, he fuel smokes, then stops in the fuel smoke. Oh, he wants to go back. He wants to go behind the island. Okay, fair enough. And that's a single line, but the Monarch is accelerating, but I think that's not enough. So he's going to take those torpedoes. And yeah, there goes the Monarch. Jutland has survived. Well done, Jutland. Carrier is focusing on the Kansas now. And we've got an Amagi over there still. Someone killed that Friesland. Well, maybe the Prinz Ruprecht can kill the Friesland. Yeah. That used to be sort of my playstyle in the Lepanto. It kind of still works, but it also doesn't. Because I used to do more damage doing this kind of things. But that's sort of where the reload's really hurting. The penetration, as you can see, if you get up in people's faces, just works. Whereas if you had long range, it can get a little sketchy, especially if you're using the semi-armor piercing against light cruisers. You're actually really starting to feel that the SAP pen is not quite what it used to be, especially if you're not bringing a 12-point captain. Why am I not putting a 12-point captain in there? Because nobody who starts the Italian battleship line with the commander is going to reach 12 points, or even the APCS skill, by the time they make it to tier 9. You're not even going to reach that by the time you make it to tier 10. That is a endgame thing. That is something you get after you've reached tier 10 and spend a lot of time grinding. That's when, because I've done this, that's when you... Even though I got killed halfway through the battle, I still managed to come on top of the team. Now, to be fair, if the Jutland had 10 more seconds, he would have sunk the carrier and had come on top. So, well played, Jutland. But 20,000 points of damage with the secondaries. That's what I like. So, okay. So, in the second game, I play a little bit more carefully. Also because this is a tier 10 game. And we're fighting Black Monty, a double Yama, and an Ibuki. No destroyers. I mean, the rest is bots, so we don't care. It's Hourglass. And off we go. So yeah, I figured, okay, I'm going to try and play a bit more carefully. Because previously, I really would smash hard in this kind of ships because of the amazing damage output that they had. But with this reload now, you can really start feeling that. And with the reduced penetration as well, you do need to kind of use armor piercing against most things, except destroyers, obviously. But if you're getting up close and personal, it doesn't really matter, but you need to get really at point blank range, and then you might get the lucky semi-armor piercing citadel against the deck plating of an Iowa class battleship. All right. Anyway, so more measured aggression this time around, not just YOLOing straight in and doing as much damage as we possibly can. Ibuki is a bot, so you also do notice that I am trying to use the manual aim as much as I can, but I am using the armor piercing here against the bot at long range, and even the armor piercing is somewhat struggling. So it's still a ship in which you sort of need to get close to make the best out of the 380 mils. They don't have the extreme penetration anymore that the Italian battleships used to enjoy when they came out. There's Black Montana and Yamato, but let's get the bot out of the way first. Dispersion says nope, but bot is dead. Okay, so now we can push forward a little bit, and we can use the scout plane if we need to extend the range and just make ourselves useful from long range. So full broadsiding Blood Monty. Manual aim up. I don't need this. I don't need the scout plane at this range, and I think he's otherwise engaged. So Yamato. Okay, let's shoot at Yamato then, because Yamato is coming under fire, and that was okay. That was okay. I mean, only half the shells have run on target, but I mean this is long range, so understandable. Bots obviously committing suicide straight up, which is why you can often play defensive against bots in bot games. But you also need to do something about the enemy players. So another salvo out at the Monty, and Monty is shooting at me. So there comes the return fire. Ow! Yeah, that was 14,000 points of damage. Thank you, Monty. And a good sign that I need to be a little bit more far away. But I've got Harugumo pushing with me here. So let's see if we can draw some fire. And Harugumo can assist with setting some fires. Monty Damokon single fire. Yamato shots out, but I'm in a turn, trying to dodge the Monty shots. Slow it down to make him overshoot. He overshoots as planned. Shots went everywhere. Mine as well as his. But yeah, let's try our hands on some long range gunnery. Use the fuel smoke first to prevent the Monty from getting another salvo in. But there comes Yama. Okay, that was not quite as bad. And another salvo out at the Yama, and we'll try to open up the distance a little bit more. That was better. Nice. Okay. Lucky Citadel there against Yamato. And now I'm spotted again, so we're going to try and draw some fire away from Harugumo. So, why are you not shooting? You're not a torpedo boat. Oh yeah, he is. Okay, nice. Okay, so Yamato is being focused. So let's, well, do that and focus on Yamato. Scout plane up because he is getting out of range of my guns. I think he's in a full turn. So I'm going to have to kind of estimate it like that. Obviously dodging the torpedoes, some nice deck hits, and yeah, this works. This kind of works. So, especially with the scout plane up, you can kind of make this happen. Anyway, we're even on score, we're even on kills. Let's try to focus that Yama down. The problem is, once the scout plane is gone, I can get one more salvo off probably. Yeah, once the scout plane is gone, then you do need to get uncomfortably close. And yeah, there's still the Montana out there as well. So it's just Harugumo and myself against Yamato and Monty. I want to try and see if we can do the same trick again and just reverse and see if we can get them to overshoot. Yamato is actually running and is pushing elsewhere. And nope, Monty's learned that. That's another 15,000 points of damage. Ow! And yeah, that's kind of the tier 9 experience. I mean, even that's just the Montana, but might be a given that it's a Black Montana, might be a high skilled captain in there who has now seen the Harugumo and is more interested in shooting the Harugumo than me. So let's inch a little bit closer, but then I think we're gonna need to run again. Monty is, I think, stopping to dodge torpedoes. And I really missed the Daka here from the Harugumo, but we get a couple more shots out. Harugumo's in smoke now. Where's the gunfire? I mean, okay, never mind. Harugumo's dead. I think he thought he was in a torpedo boat, which means there's only 2 of us left. So yeah, the battle is over. They've won at this point. There's nothing else we can do. So I might as well just turn around and go down with the blaze. But yeah, Harugumo was trying to torpedo the Monty, and yeah, that did not work. So I might as well do as much damage as I can and go out in flames, but the battle is lost. Anyway, so Lepanto, is it still the same playstyle? Not quite. I think the balancing is pretty good actually, because yeah, I can do that too. There you go. If I get close, you're gonna regret that as well. It's not quite the same playstyle anymore. You can still brawl in these things, just like in French battleships, but it feels a lot more balanced now. They were really a bit too strong previously, even in tier 10 games. And you can't do it sort of blindly anymore. I think if you play this now in a more measured manner, and let's say the first half of the battle you would play at long range, and you would use your scout plane, and then when it becomes opportune or necessary to push somewhere, you can still sort of do the get up close and personal and shoot people in the face thing, but not quite as radical anymore as you used to. And obviously against destroyers you still have the same semi-armor piercing blubbery. So I think it's still a decent ship. It's nowhere near as powerful as it used to be. And would I still play it? I'm not sure. I think it's lost a little bit of its uniqueness, but it's much closer now to the French line, which is not really a bad thing, because she still has her own gimmicks with the scout plane and with the semi-armor piercing against destroyers, and I think that's enough to still make the line itself distinct and interesting to play. So I would say probably balanced. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.